Kohort Late Model Stock Tour. I'm Kermit Henny, and this is week 2 here at Lanier National Speedway. We're going to be here for 100 laps. We have one fast repair and one set of tires that are already on the car for this race. And I'm joined in the booth today with EJ Panic Luna. EJ, appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Once again, we are here at Lanier National Speedway in the late model stock cars. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This should be a good one.
Yeah, this is the second week, another good car turnout. We have some new faces here, so it's going to be interesting to see the talent they add to the league. You know, we have a wide mix of iRatings here in the league, which really forced us to adopt a IMSA style point system. So this is the first race we're going to be able to see it on the booth as far as what drivers are in which series. So once we get qualifying finished here and we get gridded, you'll see on the tower the green drivers are going to be our Courage Series drivers, so 2500 IR and below in the Courage Series, and anything above 2500 is going to be the Honor Series, depicted by purple on the tower. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, if you see green drivers up at the top of the tower, that's those drivers that are maybe shooting above their weight.
25 cars in the field here, 7 advance in each heat. So I'm excited to see how these guys race around each other on these short 12 lap runs around here.
Yeah, I think we're going to have 3 heat races, so I'm looking at the grid for the first heat. So it looks like we have Justin Brooks, our current point series leader for the Honor Series here in this heat. Yeah, Connor Knowlton starting second, Kyle Turchek, Brian Conover, Justin Raymond, Anthony Monroe, Trevor Haley, Clayton Dorner, and Jack Jensen, who just joined the league literally 3 minutes ago. So let's go down on the track and see who these drivers are, and hopefully have a nice 12-lap clean race here.
Yep, 12 laps here, 9 drivers in this first heat. Let's get it going.
So it looks like we have one name in the tower that's messing up a little bit. We'll see. We had issues last week with the tower as well, so it might be something with the color schemes messing with the structure of how it's formatted. But I'm hoping that the order is still correct. They're just spaces for, as you guys can see, in the 11th, 13th position. Not really sure why it's doing that. We might have to look at removing the colors and making adjustments as we go on tonight. So we'll play that by ear. But here we are. First heat race, I believe, of 3. So it should be a good one.
Sir, we got Justin Brooks bringing them to the green flag. We'll see who can fire off the best and bring it home.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on that Riley Mercheko back there. You see, he's
green flag is in the air.
Yeah, green flag. So Riley's starting back in the field. He's one of those Honor Series drivers, so let's see if he can move up through the field and pull away a top 5 here, as Justin Brooks clears Kyle Turchek for first position outright. It looks like we're doubled up a little further back behind them. For 5th, we see Justin Raymond battling below. I believe Brian Conover on his outside. They go single file. Ooh, we have a wreck in the back.
Appears to be a caution here.
Looks like Anthony Monroe. Let's go see what happened with Anthony Monroe. So let's see if he had help. Let's get our AMR safety crew on it. So as you can see, he's driving right here behind Justin Raymond. Goes up the track a little bit. Might make contact with, yeah, it looks like he drifts up, makes contact with Brian Conover.
Yep, Brian Conover.
I don't know if Brian Conover came down or if Anthony went up a little bit. But definitely contact between those 2 cars to bring out our first caution here in the first heat in week 2 of the Kohort Late Model Stock Tour.
It looks like 2 cars were fighting for the same real estate there. Unfortunately, Anthony was not aware that Brian Conover was dipping down and then made contact, sends him around. Tough break for the 82 car.
Yeah, luckily this is a heat race, and I do believe that all the cars will make it to the feature tonight. So silver lining
Well,
in that they're not out of it yet.
um, I mean, I hate to correct you, buddy. It looks like only 7 make it to the feature from this heat, and there are currently 9 cars in this heat. So we'll see which 2 drop out.
Yeah, it should be a 30 car feature, so I don't know how many we had registered for the race as a whole. So we'll see how it all works out. There's a chance that 2 that
And
don't make it here will go to the consi, but then they make it into the feature. But we'll keep going and see how it all plays out. But we have Justin Brooks leading us to the field once again. I think pace cars going in here as they go through 3 and 4. Going to be heading in here to the 5-6 graphics restart zone. And here they are, green flag, 9 laps to go in this first heat.
33 gets a wonderful start as they are single file, first, second, and third. Double file for fourth place with Justin Raymond taking a peek on the outside of Brian Conover.
Yeah, we have Brian Conover. Looks like he clears Justin Raymond. Contact between Justin Raymond and Brian Conover.
Spin and big contact with the number 24.
That's going to bring out our second caution here as Justin Raymond got into the back of Brian Conover here. Looks like Justin Raymond's going to take an EOL and go to the back for making contact there.
Tough break for the 97 and the 24. The 97 doesn't seem to have much damage here. We'll see if he'll be all right. It's only a 12 lap run, so hopefully he can survive.
Trying to get the tower figured out here. It's still all kinds of messed up. So we'll continue to play with this. Try to figure out why it's messing up in this late model series while it didn't seem like it messed up in the SK modifieds. So we'll get the colors back up here and we'll play it by ear again. It looks like they're doubled up, going back green flag. Justin Brooks once again leading the field. Kyle Turchek behind.
With 12 in the wall behind him. Big hit. Let's see if he can survive this. As everybody makes a run to the inside. The 14 of Clayton Dorner peaks, but he cannot complete the pass as the outside line keeps their momentum. He makes the pass here. Nope, the 12 takes a peek back on the outside.
Yeah, we have Trevor Haley battling on the outsides, able to keep that momentum. Really makes it hard for them to clear him on corner exit. Let's see if Trevor Haley can battle back around Anthony Monroe in that yellow 82 on his inside as Anthony Monroe gets a little loose. Gives Trevor Haley the slight edge going into the corner, but it's tough getting on the outside here. We have slight progressive banking, but I don't think it's enough. I think that bottom line's going to prevail. Trevor Haley has a tough time battling out there as he slides off the corner. We'll go check in with our leaders. As we see Justin Brooks coming up here on lap traffic. Stays out of the way. Kyle Turchek. Connor Knowlton, 1, 2, 3, single file. Clayton Dorner, 4th. Oh, lapped car causing huge,
in the wall.
Huge check up there as caught the lapped car at the worst possible time. 2 laps to go here in this first race.
2 to go. Single file through 5th place, 6th place now. Looks like the battle is for 7th. We'll see who can clear. Oh, in the wall goes to 12 once again.
Yeah, he's able to keep his momentum, he's able to drive off. But yeah, we saw him bang off the wall a few times. So that's going to do it for the first race. Tower incorrect. We'll just go ahead and close it. We're not going to use the tower here. But Justin Brooks, P1, Kyle Turchek, and Connor Knowlton bringing home the top 3 here in this first heat. So we'll move on to the second heat. Let's get to see if the tower is a little more accurate here. It's all over the place. It's unfortunate. You know, you pay money for a software to help elevate the broadcast, and it's all kinds of jacked up, and
Technology.
makes you not want to use it at all.
Alrighty, as we gear up for the second here we have Bryant Miller bringing him to the green flag with Riley Mauricio in second. In third place, we have Dakota Miller. Fourth place, Zachary Wilt. And fifth place, Chris Fleming.
And on his outside, still waiting to join the session, Ryan Hufford. And Chase Weir is going to line up in seventh. Let's see if Ryan Hufford's back. Ryan Hufford's there, going back to sixth. Plus Chris Fleming in fifth. All right, there we are. Ryan Hufford, Chase, and looks like Greg hasn't gridded. So here we are. Brian Miller's going to lead us to the green flag here in the second heat of, I believe, 3 heats we're going to have here tonight. Yes, if we're looking at this race, Bryant Miller's currently second in point standings. Riley currently 6th in the Honor Series. I think ran in a little bit of trouble last week. So finds himself 19 points off the lead of Justin Brooks, who was in that first heat. But further back the field, we have Dakota Malore, Chris Fleming, some Courage drivers hoping to compete here.
Truck peels off the red green flag. 99 brings him around into turn 1. He gets clear of the 32. The 46 peeking to the 32, but does not get to it. They're single file now.
Yeah, single file 1, 2, and 3. Chris Fleming, single file. Then we have Ryan Hufford and Chase battling side by side for that 5th position. Looks like Chase is able to get by him, clear him on the inside. So single file racing all the way through the field. Bryant Miller leading them.
It appears everybody might be aware that as long as they just finish this heat, they're going to make it to the end. So doesn't look like any hard battling right now, but we'll see what happens here. Oh, the 46 comes around coming out of 4.
Dakota,
As
that
the 38
should
gets
bring
pushed
out,
out.
Let's see, he's off the line. Let's see if he gets going. Won't bring out a caution here.
He's off the racing
And
surface.
looks like they're going to keep going green. So we'll go take a look at that wreck and see what happened with Dakota here. So as you can see, he's going into the turn. Let's see if he has a little help from Chris Fleming. Comes off, going into turn 3. Yeah, it looks like he has a little bit of help from Chris Fleming, which turns him around. So we'll see if Chris has a good memory into the feature here tonight. But the battle up front between Bryant and Riley is heating up here in this second heat. Looks like we have 6 laps to go.
The second heat is flying by.
Yeah, these guys are definitely setting good pace. As you can see here, yeah, we have Bryant Miller, Riley Marecchio. I'm going to pronounce his name 16 different ways as the night goes on. But those 2 green drivers in those Honor Series, where they are. So Brian Conover back in 6th place, Honor Series driver. Perhaps ran into some early trouble. Had to check up because people wrecking in front of him. Now he finds himself in the back of the field looking to close the gap. But this is definitely a Bryant Miller and Riley Marecchio show.
Brian Miller definitely setting the pace with Riley Mauricio right on his tail.
And white flag.
White flag. We'll see if he tries to make a move here. Coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. Doesn't look like it.
So Dakota gets up out of the way as he sees the leaders coming off, and that does it. So Bryant Miller winning the second heat tonight, and Riley right on his tails, bringing it second. Chase Weir, Ryan Hufford, Chris Fleming, Dakota Malore, Greg Pillar, and Zachary Wilt rounding out the field here in the second heat. So we'll get the field reset and get the third heat out here before we move on to our 100 lap feature. Panic, once again, appreciate you joining me in the booth.
Hey, thanks for having me. Always a blast doing some broadcasts. It's always fun. I like watching these cars going around these tracks.
Yeah, so we have some new faces in this race. So Hunter Harriet, I believe is his first race. Mason Johnson, his first race. Yeah, so two new guys. Stephen Choate last race, he was competing for, I think, P3, made contact with the car on his outside and ended up finishing in the back of that field. So he's definitely going to be looking to gain some positions here, but he had pace, right? So it's he's one of those Curd Series drivers that has pace of the Honor Series, so it's something to keep an eye on. Perhaps an early on favorite to take the championship down in that Curd Series.
Now, this is a heat where not everybody will advance to the feature, so let's keep an eye on to that 7th spot.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. I want to go ahead and go down to Stephen Choate, rocking the Kohort sponsorship on the window there. Shout out to 5-6 Graphics and Emblem Athletic for coming on board the Kohort Late Model Stock Tour, offering sponsorship and a championship package. As green flag's in the air, Hunter Harriet leads us to the green flag as they shuffle side by side in the back, competing as we see Nicholas Walthorn on the outside of Kenny Trotton.
Kenny Trotton looking on the outside, holds it there. The 25 cannot get cleared. He gets clear now into the corner, but let's see if the 54 can come back to him. He has to check up a little bit coming out of the corner.
Yeah, the 54 of
will take that position.
Nicholas Walthorn was definitely showing a little patience there, lifting and not driving into the back of him.
That 25 looks very loose here. Let's keep an eye on that. Let's see if the 54 can get back to him now.
Yeah, it's definitely a close battle. Let's go take a quick peek. Oh, let's go take a quick peek up at the lead, as there's also a battle for the lead between Hunter Harriet and Mason Johnson. Mason Johnson joining late. He's not a green name, but I rest assured he is a 3.9 IR, so he will be competing in the Honor Series. So he is a green name based off his I rating. So there's definitely something to watch here as these two battle. Let's ride along on the nose of Mason Johnson.
He's right there on the bumper of the 81 of Hunter. Let's see if he tries to make a move. Does he get it? No. These guys are pretty even when it comes to these corners. We'll see if the 025 can make any ground on him when it comes to the final lap.
Yeah, we're going to ride on board here and try to see exactly when Mason Johnson's diving in compared to Hunter Harriet. It looks like they're running a very similar line. It's going to take, slight contact there. I was just getting ready to say it's going to take probably a little bump to move him out of the way in order to get that momentum, as we saw him make slight contact in the middle of the corner there. So perhaps Mason Johnson rolling the corners a little bit better than Hunter Harriet. 3 laps ago.
Mason might want to be careful here, not show his hand too early. It looks like he's got the speed, but I don't know if his line's gonna work out.
Yeah, and Panic, I don't know if it's worth it doing it in the heat race. You know, if you make some enemies, 1 lap to go. As you make some enemies here in this heat race, that 100 lap points paying feature, that's really where it's going to pay. So
Yep.
Mason Johnson doing what he needs to do. Hunter Harriet, though, brings us to the checkered flag. Yes, sir. Hunter Harriet, Mason Johnson, Stephen Choate, your top 3 here in this 3rd heat, here in the Kohort Late Model Stock Tour at Lanier National Speedway.
It appears the 9 of Brody Duscher has been eliminated and has to call it a night, pack it up, and take it back to North Carolina.
Yeah, we're going to see how many cars make it into the field.
It looks like the Constellation has been skipped.
So the Constellation skipped, and yeah, so it looks like Brody Disher, Jack Jensen, they will make the feature. The feature is set for a 30-car field, and since we have 25 drivers here tonight, all drivers will make the feature. So 100 laps. What do you think, Pan? You think we're going to have some...
I think it is gonna be a little intense at the beginning. Then everybody will figure it out, shuffle out, get in a groove. Hopefully, get some green flag run. But you never know. We'll see who's gonna be aggressive, who's gonna pace it out. I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, 25 cars here at Lanier National Speedway. It's a tight track. Lap traffic is definitely going to come into play. If we look at our leaderboard, you see a lot of green names up there. Those are, remind everybody, that is our honor series in the green. So those are drivers that are currently sitting at 2,500 IR or above. So with that being said, we look at Trevor Haley down there, starting all the way back, I believe, in 20th position. So it's going to be interesting to see the number 12 of Trevor Haley battle through this field as being an honor series driver, but finds himself back in the pack after not performing in that heat race.
As the pace truck peels off there, green flag. Mason with the big jump gets clear of the 32, 51 right behind him of Kyle Terzic.
Now we do have an invert, right? So the winner of those heats will find themselves starting 5th and 6th. Looks like there's a caution here.
Caution
So let's go
on the
see
track.
if we can go check it. It looks like Justin Raymond might have been involved in an incident. So let's see
Justin
here.
Raven.
In the 199 car,
Oh,
let's
it
see
looks
if
like
there's
the
an incident
82.
above him, in front of him.
The 82 of Anthony Monroe just loses it going into 3 and just causes big wreck behind him.
All right, let's go with 82.
Oh, he got a little help from the 54.
Yeah, so it looks like
And
the 82 had to check up, and then the 54 made contact, sending the 82 around. Bring out our
and they
first
all,
caution here tonight.
yep, they all get stacked up behind him. You hate to see it.
Yeah, then we see the 04 drive through Justin Raymond, the 199. So a lot of heavy contact here. Very early in the race, you do have one fast repair, but you definitely don't hope to use it this quick in the race.
I agree with that. This is a big field for the sides of track, so I think patience is definitely going to be key here with the 100 laps.
So let's go see if we can
Sure.
get Trevor Haley up in the booth. Hey, Trevor Haley, it's Kermit Henny in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Trevor, so I'm looking at the leaderboard here, and you're one of those honor series drivers that find yourself back in the pack.
Oh, big
Seems
wreck! Big wreck
green
as
flag.
they come back to the green flag. Big wreck. It looks
All right,
like
Trevor,
the
looks like
second
that
row tried to
caution
get
was
a jump.
shortened. I'm gonna get you back in the track, and we're gonna see what's going on here. I'll come back to you later, Trevor. Good luck.
Thank you.
Did they shorten the caution? That was fast.
It's a short track. It's just a short track.
All right, let's go see what caused this one. Yeah, it looks like let's see.
The 57 gets a jump and just runs over the 25 and also gets run over himself. And everybody just checks up and nowhere to go in the back. They all wreck. 52, get an eye. I mean, an eye on the 51. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks like the field wasn't lined up coming to the green there, so perhaps race control could have added a lap to the caution there, but it looked like the back of the field was all over the place. As I'm looking for the 57, I don't see a 57, so let's see what we can find here.
We might have tempers here early.
Yeah, so it looks like all the way up in the field we have, okay, there we go. So right at the front of the field we have the 81 who tries to jump. So the 51 just absolutely crushes the leader coming to the restart. So whenever the leaders all wreck, there's nowhere else for the entire field to go. So not
Yeah,
something you want to see
the
early in
back
on
of the
this
field.
race.
back of the field, you see Chris Fleming all over the back end of the 26, just runs him over and just calamity in the back, nowhere to go.
Yeah, there was a lot of damaged cars there. A lot of damaged cars. So it looks like we're stacked up again. Pace truck's gonna go in here. So let's hopefully we can get a decent restart here, get some green flag laps going. But a lot of cars early damage, likely had to use their fast repair. You don't like to see this kind of racing this early on in the race. But
Pace cars off, and we are back to racing. The 025 of Mason Johnson takes the early lead as the 81 of Hunter takes a look to the inside of 32. Does he get it cleared? He gets it cleared coming out of 4.
yeah, so it looks like we're slight contact on the outside wall. Another caution on the tracks. Let's go see. Let's go see what this caution was. As you see, I'm 3 wide back here.
Looks like the 54 into the back of the 12 because they're all checking up for the 90.
Yeah, so we see the 54 and the Monster Energy gets into the back of the 12. And does the 12 save it? Oh, and then right ahead of him, the 04 of Zachary Wilt gets into the 90. So once again, one wreck leading to another, and more cars damaged here.
Well, you know how they say, caution breed caution.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's a matter of some over-aggressive driving, not being familiar with where these cars are, braking points. You know, I think at this point the drivers need to settle in, try to get some green flag laps going. You know, we're only 16 laps into this 100-lap race. I feel like half the field has pretty substantial incident points already. So let's hope we can clean up some of this racing. And get some green flag laps in. We'll see if race control opts to go to single file for this restart. Keeps them doubled up. That's up to race control, so we'll see. Looks like some of them are starting to double up here, so let's hope for some clean racing. A single file restart here might be the entire length of the track, though, if I'm being honest, Panic, so I don't know if that's a call either. But 3 early cautions here. Mason Johnson still leading the field. Hunter, Harriet on his outside. Riley Marecchio and Connor Knowlton P4 with Justin Brooks rounding out your top 5. Yeah, it seems this many cars, you know, you love having a big field. This many cars looks like we're having a lot of issues with the checkups and the accordion effect as Mason Johnson comes into the 5-6 graphics restart zone. Green flags in the air. Mason Johnson clears Hunter going into turn 1. Let's go see further in the back, see if we can get some clean racing. It looks like there's another caution. Looks like another caution. Let's go see if we can capture where this one was. So let's play it here. Yeah, it looks like the 9 of Brody Disher just gets into the back of Chris Fleming and sends him around, and some checkups behind, but that all started right there with Brody Disher getting to the back of the 38. Yeah, so we have quick cautions here. I don't know if we have enough time to go down and get a driver. We tried that with Trevor. We ran out of time. So we don't want to interfere with the drivers. We want to get them time in the booth, you know, do the driver interviews. But how quick these cautions are going, we also don't want to interfere with their driving and negatively impact their race. So. But if we're looking at the field, we have Dakota Malore, who's up 8 positions so far. So he's able to, seems so far, is able to avoid some of these early incidents, gain some of these positions. Zachary Wilt also up 8 positions. We did see him involved in some of those. I think our big loser so far, Kyle Turchek, uh, back in 20th, down 17 positions from the start of the race. I believe we saw him get involved in that checkup at the front of the field. Chris Fleming also down 10 positions from the start of the race. So we have a lot of drivers that are having a rough go here at Lanier National Speedway. It's a tough track, it's shorter track, so it's tough to get around people. And the accordion effect, there's not a lot of room to get around them once that happens. So unfortunately, you tend to just run into the back of the guy in front of you. So let's see if we can go to the drone cam for this restart, as Mason Johnson's going to go ahead and head into the 5-6 graphics restart zone here and bring us once again. Green flag. Mason Johnson's able to clear Hunter Harriet on the inside as Riley peeks his nose under. Can't quite get there. Hunter's able to drive off. Clears him for P2. Single file, first through third.
Mason with a good lead over the 81. It's like Riley and Mauricio, 32, trying to chase him down, but he's got company from the 33 of Justin Brooks.
Yeah, if we go further in the back, we have Stephen Chode, who's battling in 11th place in the black 72 car. Looks like he gets ahead of the 14 of Clayton Dorner. Looking to get on the inside of Anthony Monroe. Can't quite get there, as there's more double file racing in the back between Zachary Wilt. Looks like there's another car spin around.
Gets spin. 14 gets spun.
Oh, it looks Zachary Wilt makes contact, and there's the caution. So there's a couple incidents there. We saw the 14 go around. The caution didn't come out from that. But then on the next corner, we saw it here live. Zachary Wilt makes contact with the car on his outside, ends up spinning himself. Bringing out our 5th caution, as perhaps Zachary Wilt's car might be a little broke as he drives it into the outside wall there. So we'll see if he can get back into the pits and get that car fixed. Perhaps not paying attention under the caution flag.
Yeah, this what it's looking like. Need some situational awareness around here. It is a short track, some close quarter racing. Things happen very quickly, so always got to be on the lookout.
Yeah, it looks like Zachary Wilt's going to go ahead and head down the pit lane. He definitely made some hard contact with that outside wall, so probably has some damage. But Mason Johnson once again leading us to the field as we see the drivers hugging the inside. So perhaps fuel conservation coming into play here as we hit the 30 lap mark.
Yeah, it does look like the 025 of Mason Johnson has a little right front damage, but we'll see if this hurts him or doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so Mason Johnson and Hunter Harriet, first timers here, leading the field. We see Chase Weir and Dakota Malore currently leading the Curd series, highlighted on the purple on the tower there. So the way that the point systems work, there are 2 winners in every race based off every series, similar to in the IMSA series. So as it currently stands, we have Mason Johnson, the leader of the Honor Series, and then down there in 7th place, but in first position for the Curd Series is Chase Weir. So we'll keep an eye on those battles back in the field as Mason Johnson heads into turns, where we at, turns 2?
Turn 2, they're coming to the green here.
Yeah, so I think Pace Truck's going to dip in here. So going through 3 and 4, Mason Johnson's going to go ahead and lead us back into the 5-6 graphics restart zone. Bring us to the green flag once again here at Lanier National Speedway.
Good jump from Mason as he hops right out to the lead. The 81 in hot pursuit.
Yeah, we see lots of battles throughout this field. Still cars double foul. Car way out of shape up high. Is able to bring it back together. avoid making contact with another car. As we see Mason Johnson and Hunter Harriet breaking out a 2-car gap. Oh, trouble in the back. Let's go look and see what happened here back in the field, as I think Steven Oberstadt was involved in this. So let's go ahead and play. Keep an eye on that camo National Guard of Steven Oberstadt here. Chris Fleming behind. Perhaps we ride on the nose of Chris Fleming. Looks like, let's see. So, coordinate effect, Oberstadt checked up, and then Chris Fleming gets into the back of Oberstadt. Then we see the purple and black of, who's in the purple and black?
Looks like Fleming got into the 3, and
Clayton
then
Dorner.
everybody just stacked up behind him. The
Yeah.
14, Clayton Dorner.
Yep, Clayton Dorner.
And then the 9 comes in and just smashes him at the end of the wreck.
Yeah, so we see some cars getting their, appears to be getting their lap back. So we had a decent green flag run there, but once again, I think Chris Fleming making contact with Steven Oberstadt. I will remind everybody, all the viewers, that there is a race review after the race. Members of the Kohort Council get together, review all the incidents that occurred, and administer EOLs for the next race. All drivers do have the option of self-imposing an EOL live in the race, or they can self-impose an EOL for the next week, next week at the conclusion of the race. If they do that, they won't be considered for the progressive penalty system. Whereas if the Cohort Council administers an EOL, there is a progressive penalty system in that if you receive a penalty in the next race, you will also receive a point deduction. So it benefits these drivers if they own up to their mistakes and call their own EOLs to avoid falling into that progressive penalty system. But it looks like we're coming to 1 to go. Cars are going to get doubled up. We saw some cars get their laps back. Right now I'm showing Clayton Dorner, Jack Jensen, Brody Disher, and Nicholas Walthorn as the only cars a lap down. So I wonder how many of these vehicles still have their fast repair left. As looks like we went with a single file restart here to try to get some cleaner racing going. As we say that, let's see where our first double wide our battle is. Let's look at Stephen Choate here and Brian Conover. Looks like Anthony Monroe peeking below. No, he's able to keep it clean. So race control opting to go with the single file restart. Let's see how long we can get this green flag going. See Nicholas Giampa getting a little bit out of shape on the outside there, losing that position. Further ahead we have Dakota Malore, Trevor Haley battling on the backside. Currently running 11th and 12th.
The battle right now is for 7th place. Looks like Brian Miller on the back of Chase Ware. We'll see if he can make the pass on him. They're all single file.
Yeah, so Chase Ware, as I mentioned earlier, currently the leader in that Curd series, was not in the field last week, so this is his first race, coming out there and showing everybody in the Curd series that he is the guy to beat early on here at Lanier National Speedway. So we'll see if Bryant Miller, who is an honor series driver, is able to get by him, go up there and compete, as it looks like he gives him the inside. So perhaps Chase, knowing that he's not competing with Bryant Miller, decides to give him that position, as we have.
As the caution comes out.
I think Greg Pillar. Let's go see. So Greg Pillar in the 90, perhaps. Let's see if he's the cause of this incident.
Gets a little help from the 04.
So the 04, Zachary Wilt, definitely sends him around and brings out our, I believe, 6th caution, 7th caution of this race. So we see the 90 car just waiting on the bottom there, make sure he doesn't collect anybody as he gets the car back in the right direction. Yeah, the 04 giving a little boost. The 90 of Greg Pillar, sending him around for the 7th caution this race. I don't know, Pandy. Do you think frustrations are settling in for all these drivers, the number of cautions we're having here?
I think at this point, tempers are definitely flaring. Um, these guys want to get going, but they just can't get settled into a groove. So it's it's a it's a battle here. It's definitely a battle if you want to be patient or if you want to send it.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Fleming is now out of the race. So we'll see if, as the incidents continue to build, there's only one faster pair, so eventually you're going to be off pace and a hazard. So maybe some drivers electing to just opt out this week and bring it back for next week. Which reminds me, next week we head to Martinsville Speedway for 90 laps here in the late model stock tour. So it should be a good one. Martinsville always brings some good racing. So Martinsville next week, 90 laps, September 24th. Session opens up at 9 p.m. Qualifying begins at 9:30. Hope to see you there as we're double up looking to go back racing here at Lanier National Speedway. Field is being led once again. Oh, looks like Hunter was able to get by. So Hunter, Harriet, and Mason Johnson still leading that front row, heading into the 5-6 graphics restart zone. Green flag.
Mason takes the jump to 81 right behind him as the 33 gets clear to 32, and they are single file 1 through 4. It looks like the 81 making a peek to the inside. Can he make the pass? No, he doesn't.
Let's go back further in the field. Let's go back to that battle that we left off with Chase Weird, Bryant Miller. As we see Bryant Miller. Oh, hard contact. Hard contact in the wall. I think it was Stephen Choate. Let's go look. As you can see it happening here.
It looks like Stephen Cho drifted up right in front of Brian Conover. Might have not known that he was not clear, but he definitely gets put into the wall there by Brian Conover. You hate to see it.
Yeah, so if we're looking at Stephen Choate, looks like he's coming up, kind of self-clears. Very similar to exactly what happened to Stephen last week, where he self-cleared, running in third position, but he comes up, clears himself in front of Brian Conover. Then Anthony Monroe has nowhere to go, gets into Brian Conover, but Stephen Choate coming up into Brian Conover is definitely what brought up our 8th caution here at Lanier National. All right, Panic. 60 laps in, 8 cautions. Not a lot of green flag green flag laps. If you think about this late model stock tour, for me, the first thing that comes to mind is tire conservation. But if we're looking at this race today, I think it's more about survival out there.
Yep, survival is definitely the key. The 025 of Mason Johnson has been in the lead, keeping it out front, staying away from everything. I think he might be all right. I do see the 81 though creeping into the picture, so you got to keep an eye on that. See if you can make a pass on him. See who's the faster one.
We covered at the beginning of this race. We tried to do a driver interview, ran out of time, but let's look at Trevor Haley, up 15 positions. We saw him starting in the back of the field. He was the furthest starting back of those Honor Series drivers, but now finds himself up there in contention right in 7th.
Yep, Trevor Haley has been clawing his way back to the top. That's another driver to keep an eye on as it comes double file, ready for green.
Mason Johnson's able to clear Hunter Harriet once again into turn 1 as they're battling side by side for P4. Connor Knowlton on the inside of Riley Maricchio is able to clear him into the turn. Let's see if he has the drive off or if Riley does. Oh, he's getting loose. Going to open up the door for Riley below. No, closes the door. Single file 1 through 7. Bryant Miller battling on the outside of Dakota Malore. We have Kyle Turchak and Anthony Monroe. Double file. Throw a blanket on them. 8 through 11,
46.
all battling here. And another caution is on the track. Looks like Brody Disher, perhaps in the 9 involved in this incident. Let's take a look.
30 Dusher gets turned by the number 3 of Steven Oberst.
Yeah, it looks like Oberstadt definitely gets into the right rear. Let's see if we can ride along on the nose of Steven Oberstadt here. See if we can get a good look at it. So as you can see, riding along on the nose here, Steven Oberstadt. Look at that chicken. Says, oh, yep, it's definitely an angry chicken as Steven Oberstadt makes contact and sends a 9 car around for our 9th caution here tonight. You know, we like seeing green flag runs here in the Kohort late model stock tour, and that is certainly not what we're having tonight. But I don't think it's a coincidence. If we look at that leaderboard, we see a lot of green up there, you know, and that really goes back to the decision to implement 2 series here, just to give people a chance to win the championship and compete and win. So if we're looking at that, we have Dakota Malloy riding in 7th, currently leading the Kurd series, with Anthony Monroe back there in 10th, being in 2nd place in the Kurd series. So a lot of good battles, a lot of interesting storylines to follow through here throughout this race as we come to 30 to go. But definitely a lot messier than I was hoping this race would be, Panic.
Yep, that's correct. It appears they're just gonna have to start going single file until they figure this out. We're trying to get some green flag racing in here. I'm pretty sure the leader and the 81 are impatient or getting real antsy here, trying to get some racing.
Yeah, so it looks like we opted to go single file again. Lights on the pace truck are off. So we're going to go single file here with 30 to go. We have Mason Johnson leading the field once again. Hunter Harriet P2, Justin Brooks, followed by Connor Knowlton and Riley Marecchio. As the green flag's in the air, Mason Johnson once again leads the field to the green. As it looks like Dakota Malloy, Trevor Haley's around. Let's see if Trevor Haley's able to get it back turned around. We're able to keep this green, but definitely contact between what looked to be Dakota Malloy and Trevor Haley during that restart. I'm going back to see if I can find where that caution happened. But there was definitely contact between what looked like Dakota Malloy and Trevor Haley. Let's see if this could be it. Yes, as we see here, Trevor Haley's turned around at this point. So let's go ahead and rewind and see what brought Trevor Haley around. So if we're riding here, so let's go hop on the nose of Dakota Malloy and see if we can capture the contact between the two. But initial impressions was that Dakota Malloy got into the back and helped Trevor Haley around. So let's see. Right along on the nose, Dakota Malloy, you see the Mellow SRX Chevy, definitely contact. Dakota Malloy sending around Trevor Haley, bringing out our 90th caution here at Lanier National Speedway in the Kohort Late Model Stock Tour. 10 cautions, 74 laps. So it's going to be interesting, Panic. Maybe we do a radioactive session or video for this race, because I can only assume that the frustrations are boiling throughout these drivers. You know, you have the leaders that just want to race, but then you have people in the back of the field that just keep getting caught up in other people's incidents. So I can only imagine that there's frustrations on both sides of the spectrum here. So green flags, they're checking up a little bit, still early accordion. As we have our 11th caution, perhaps the field wasn't lined up. Yeah, I can only assume that the field wasn't lined up, and that's why they brought out that quick caution. Not sure if you're able to see something on your end. but I'm not seeing anything here. So we'll see if this is a quick caution, see if we can get back racing. 24 laps to go, 11 cautions in. Mason Johnson, Hunter Harriet have been leading the majority of this race. So we're going to see if Justin Brooks or Connor Nolan have anything to compete with them and find themselves on a podium here as we close down to 20 to go. As we go through the field there, we have Mason Johnson once again leading us to the field. Single file restart. Looks like pace truck's in. So Mason Johnson, Hunter Harriet, class at the field. Once again, let's find out where our first battle is. As you see, Bryant Miller looking to the inside, chooses wisely, falls back into line. We have Justin Raymond and Brian Conover battling back for 11th position. But Anthony Monroe, P8, Kenny Troughton, 8th and 9th. This is our battle for the lead in the Courage Series. Looks like Anthony Monroe gapping a little bit. As we see the 51 of Kyle Turchek trying to get below Brian Miller, is able to get below him. Can he hold on to as he drifts up a little bit? Is able to stay off of him, still on his inside as he head into turn 1. Anthony Monroe battle on the inside. There's our caution on the track. Let's see, we had a nice little green flag run there. Perhaps, let's see if, so we have the 90 car. Let's see what happened to the 90 car. As you see another car down below. So Nicholas Giampa, so I think that's unrelated. So we have the 90 car of Greg Pillar coming down on the inside, just can't quite hold it, comes up and gets into the number 9 of Brody Disher. I think that's going to bring out our 12th caution here. So it's going to be 13 to go. We're going to have to keep it double file at this point, 15 laps in. So let's see if we can get somebody up in the booth here. Let's see. Who do we want to... So... let's go look at... Man, we have a lot of comers and goers here. Trying not to get anybody that's going to be a little bit too animated. I don't want to interfere with anybody. We see Kyle talking on the radio there. So let's see if we can get... Looks like we're going to be going 1 to green here, so let's yeah, so it looks like we're going to stay single file. We get another caution. We got to make sure we double them up. But 10 laps to go, single file racing makes it tough for anybody to really be in contention to win if you're not in that first 3. So ideally, race control would have went double file here. So that's something we'll go and address with race control. Make sure that we're still trying to get some good racing going. As now we see Justin Brooks up to P2 as Hunter Harris drops all the way back to 4th as they're checking up on the start. So it looks like Riley Maricchio was able to get on the inside of Kyle Turchek as they're battling for the 5th position. Riley's able to clear him, but Kyle's going to dip back below him. Now he's back on his inside, heading into turn 1. As they're still battling side by side. Is there trouble? Oh, big checkup, big checkup, big checkup. So they were battling hard up there for try to get on that podium finish. Turns around, and then madness ensues from there for our 13th caution of this race. There's going to be a lot to review in this race and see if there's something we can do to get some better racing here, because this definitely is not what we want to see here in the Kohort Late Model Stock Tour. Not a good showing. So let's see if we can capture what happened in this incident. So we're riding along here with Justin Raymond. As we see up ahead, the 2 of Connor Knowlton gets turned by the 04, I believe. Hard to tell from this far back. Might not be the 04. We'll go check. 01, 91. But as you see, they're wrecking up ahead. Just block the track. And then people don't check up. So we see the 14 get into the back of Justin Raymond there. And brings out our 13th caution. But the real caution happened much sooner than that. So let's go ride up ahead with, let's see, it was looks like Hunter gets into the back of Connor Knowlton here. We saw Hunter battling in that top 2 all race. So perhaps just a little bit too aggressive as he dives it into turn 1. Looks like he just makes contact with Connor Knowlton, spins him around. He in turn gets Connor straightened back out, but unfortunately they're all just going to check up from there. Then we see Riley and Anthony Monroe coming through, just absolutely blasting Connor Knowlton, who was up in the field, top of the field most of this race. So you hate to see it. A lot of good cars tore up again. Coming into 3 to go. So we're going to do double file here for what appears to be our first attempt at a natural green-white checkered. Mason Johnson still leading this race. Justin Brooks, last week's winner, on his outside. Green flags in the air. Let's see if Mason Brooks has what it makes. Mason Johnson has what it takes to bring home. As you see, Anthony Monroe.
The 33 gets taken out and a big wreck behind him.
Anthony Monroe gets into the back of the 33 of Justin Brooks. So a lot of aggressive driving. It's going to be our first green-white checkered. No need to check the replay there, but definitely Anthony Monroe getting into the back of Justin Brooks, who fought to get into that top 2 all day. So you hate to see it. Justin Brooks showing his displeasure there under caution. So definitely frustrations boiling. So we'll see what happens when we go back green. But a lot of frustrations, rightfully so. 14 cautions in. It's hard for anybody at this point to not have some frustrations. So if we're looking at that leaderboard now, I would see a good mix of the honor and courage drivers as the majority of the field were taken out one way or another. really shuffled off the field, but the one constant that has been all day, and that's Mason Johnson being out front, was able to stay clean throughout the majority of this race. So we'll see if we can survive these green-white checkers and bring home the checkered flag here week 2, Lanier National Speedway in the Kohort Late Model Stock Tour. Tell you what, Panic, these driver interviews at the end of this race might be a little entertaining. We'll see. I think this will show how frustrated these drivers are. All right, looks like pace car is going to go in. This is our first attempt at the green-white checkered. Heading into the 5-6 graphics restart zone. Mason Johnson in that red 25 gets a good start. Is able to dive it down in there. Looks like Anthony Monroe is able to clear P2. Justin Brooks on the outside of Bryant Miller. Let's see if Bryant Miller has anything going. It looks like we're going to come to the white flag. This is going to do it. So Mason Johnson takes the white flag. Looks like he has enough pace to get a stay ahead of Anthony Monroe. As we see Justin Brooks get on the inside of Bryant Miller. Looks like he's going to bring home P3. He's able to hold on to it as we see cars wrecking in the back of the field. Heavy damage in the back. Carnage at the end of this race. Fitting that we would end the way that we did considering how many cautions we had. But this one is over. Thank goodness. And here's the hoping that future races aren't as bad as this one was. Because speaking frankly, this was terrible. So.
Yep, probably the worst cohort league race I've witnessed. Let's hope that everybody can clean it up.
Yeah, so let's go get some driver interviews done, and let's move on. Let's go see who's our P3 driver, Justin Brooks. Let's see if he's available in chat. So it looks like Justin Brooks is not in chat today. So we'll move on to P2, being Anthony Monroe. Anthony Monroe also not in Discord, available for driver interviews. So we'll go on to our leader of Mason Johnson, and Mason Johnson is available. So let's bring Mason Johnson up in the booth. Mason Johnson, Kermit Henny, up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Holy crap. What a race. You staying ahead of the field the entire race. I think you were the only safe driver out there because it was carnage behind you. Talk to me about that race.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough race. Justin Brooks got me to join his league. I watched the first race y'all did with him in it. It was pretty clean, but I guess some people wasn't using their head tonight. But other than that, it was a pretty good race. Y'all got a pretty good little leads going here.
Yeah, this is disappointing to say the least, the amount of cautions we had, and it's going to take a lot of time to go through the reviews and issue penalties as needed. But definitely not the kind of racing we'd like to see here in the cohort, but I do appreciate you joining. Justin Brooks joining, able to bring it home P3. Saw he got turned there late, running P2. But yeah, a lot of aggressive driving. Overshooting turns, getting in the back of guys throughout the field. But as I said, you set the pace throughout the field. I think the invert put you out in front, and you just kept clean the entire time. Do you have any shout outs you want to send?
Yeah, I appreciate Justin Brooks. You know, he invited me to join this league. If he wouldn't tell me about it, I probably wouldn't have joined. All my boys that we race together, me, Justin, and Hunter Harriet, and here, Locklear Lawn Care, JRL Electric, and all the Goodham boys, Cody Kelly, Casey Kelly, Brendan Lee, everybody that we get in and do some practice time and get some laps on us.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the driving that you, Justin, Hunter. Hunter also newcomer here, wasn't here last week. Coming in, you guys put on a good show. Everything else behind you, definitely a lot of things to tighten up. But look forward to seeing you next week, Martinsville, 90 laps, and good luck to you in the future.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Me and Justin Hunter be back and try to be up front again.
All right, buddy, good race. I think Justin Brooks popped in, so we'll go ahead and do his interview now.
All right, thank you.
Justin Brooks, Kermit Henny up in the booth. You got me? Hey, Justin, it's Kermit up in the booth. You got me? Hey, Justin. Kermit in the booth. You got me? And nothing heard from Justin, so we're gonna go ahead and call this one complete. Disappointed, right? There was a lot of aggressive driving. Not the kind of driving we like to see. So hopefully, moving forward, we can tighten that up a little bit. Show some courtesy to other drivers out on the track. But this was definitely not representative of the kind of league that I would like to run. So a lot of discussion is going to be had, and hopefully we can improve moving forward. That's going to do it here. Week 2, Lanier National Speedway. Next week, we're going to head to Martinsville for 90 laps here in the Kohort Late Model Stock Tour. So it looks like Mason Johnson was able to bring home the lead or the win for the Honor Series, and Anthony Monroe finishing second, bringing home the win for the Courage Series here in the second week. So look forward to seeing you guys in Martinsville next week. Thanks for joining.